Hello everyone, I'm Iván López and I'm a member of the Micronaut development team at Object Computing. In today's screencast, I'm going to show you how you can contribute with code to Micronaut and how you can deploy those changes locally and use them in your local test applications to make sure that everything works as expected. Imagine that you want to contribute to Micronaut SQL because you found some bug in that project. But before sending a pull request with the changes that fix the bug, you want to make sure that the fix actually works on a real application. So let's create an application that uses Micronaut data JDBC using our launcher at launch.micronaut.io. We can go to our home web page, micronaut.io, and we can click here to generate a new project. And in our launcher, we can select a few options, but here today I'm only interested in Micronaut data JDBC. I select the feature, and then you generate the project, you can save it, unzip it, and load it into your favorite IDE or text editor. I'm using IntelliJ IDEA, and I already have the application loaded here. There is nothing we can do now with the project. As you can see, it contains just the basic application to run it. So we can click here, run the application, and we will be able to see that the application starts without any problem, right? But we are not doing anything yet. It's a regular plain Micronaut data JDBC application. We use Hickory as the connection pool. So let's stop it. The next step will be going to clone the actual Micronaut SQL project. So you can go to our GitHub page, github.com/micronaut-projects/Micronaut SQL, and then this is the project you need to clone and configuring again in your IDE or your favorite text editor. I already did that, and I have here the project. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to modify some classes so we can try and test those changes in our other application. As I showed you before, I'm using Hickory for connection. So one thing that we can do is, for example, modifying the data source factory, which is responsible of creating the connection to the database. So what I'm going to do is adding here just a print line that we will be able to see once we start the application, right? So I've done now the modification. It's a pretty simple change. And the next step is that we need to check the current version of this project because we want to make sure that we use that same version in our test application. To do that, we can open the Gradle properties file in the root directory, and we can see here that the current project version is 3.0.1.build-snapshot. This is the one we need to use. Now, what we need to do is publish this new version into our local Maven directory. Right, this is a special Maven repository which is located in our home directory. There is a directory called m2.repository, and here we can find, for example, a different tree directory with all the packages and all the dependencies that we download from Maven Central. Right, so as you can see, I have here a few dependencies already downloaded, but I don't have the snapshot version, at least not that one. I have this old one. So what we can do here, I can open a terminal, and to publish a snapshot version, I need to run Gradle w clean. I always like to clean everything before publishing and then run the task publish to Maven local. This is going to compile all the code and publish snapshot versions to our local Maven directory. So let's wait a few seconds until it finishes. It finishes. So now we can go back here, and if I redo this again, we can see that we have a new snapshot version of every library that it's included in Micronaut SQL. Now that we have the snapshot version with our changes published locally, we can use it in our application. So we open the application, and the first step here is going to the build.gradle file and include here Maven local repository. So Gradle knows that it needs to load versions from that special repository. The next step is modifying the Hickory dependency here to include the snapshot version that we publish. .1 build snapshot. Save the change, and here on the Gradle tab we can reload the changes to tell Gradle, please reload everything and load the new versions of the library. Let's close this. Open now external libraries, look for the Hickory version, And we can see that there is a problem here. We have two different versions of the Hickory dependency on the class path. This can be problematic, so we need to fix this. This basically happens because we are using here a snapshot version, and we use in Micronaut this platform thing from Gradle to include all the dependencies from the BOM. So to fix this, we go to the configurations block and add this resolution strategy. With this strategy, we are telling Gradle, if you see some dependency from this group, io.micronaut.sql, you need to use this specific version. Snapshot, save change, reload. And as you can see here, now we have only one version of the library on the class path. Another thing that we can check is we can navigate through the library and we can open the class that we modify to make sure that it contains our changes. If you remember, I modified this data source factory, and as you can see, here it contains the printout that I added. You need to keep in mind that this is a jar file, right? So if I try to click here, you will see that this file is read-only. You cannot modify the library here. We can close this. Actually, we can leave it here. And what I'm going to do now is, again, I can start the application, and we will see when the application starts up our new log message, or a print line, right? So this is what we expected. So now, imagine that you want to do another modification in the library. So we go back here, and now what we are going to do is remove this printout. So we can do this, we remove the printout, but here, instead of publishing all the changes, again, as we have only modified JDBC Hickory project, what we can do is do something like JDBC Hickory clean, JDBC Hickory publish to Maven local. And this will only clean and recompile that library, right? So the changes again published on Maven local, and if we open our test application, without doing anything else, IntelliJ will reload the change because it knows that this is a snapshot version. So if I open this again, you can see that now the print line is gone. And finally, if I start the application, it will work, but we won't see anymore the print line. And that's all I have for you today. I really hope you learned something new. Thanks for watching.